we we talked about a couple of things, and we're talking about community-based research, and we're talking about risk management in the field. So today we'll be looking at qualitative data collection and management. We'll be focusing more on conducting interviews and focus group discussions, transcriptions, and even thematic analysis. So please, you note down your questions. Once it is time, we'll ask questions. Always know that even outside this very class or topic, you could ask questions in other areas as well. I believe that we should be able to discuss and understand ourselves better. Always know that this class is interactive, and it's not as if I know more than you do. We're all learning, and of course, there is always a lead. So I'm just taking the lead here, and all of us are learning. So there is no wrong question, there is no wrong answer. We're all learning. So that's it. That being said, we look at the objective of what we're doing today. Of course, by the end of this class, we should be able to conduct effective interviews and focus group discussions in field settings. We should be able to transcribe and organize qualitative data systematically. And of course, we should be able to apply coding techniques and perform thematic analysis. So this is an outline. This is the outline of what we will be doing today for class. I think this should be 9. Yeah, this should be week 9. So let's go. So conducting interviews in the field. First thing first, you have to do a preparation before you go into the field, and what happens in the field, and what happens after the field. So you have 3 phases to it. What do you do before you go to the field? What do you do in the field? And what do you do after the field? So how do you prepare? You would want to develop an interview guide. It is very important. You don't just go into the field like that and start asking questions. You have to sit down and think. Before I told, before now, I had told you before that you review literature. So that's why you see most of our research works, projects, thesis, dissertations, proposals. You do a review of literatures. You read what you want to research about. You know what people have done in that area before. Sometimes maybe what you want to do research on has been researched on before. So by the time you read, you see that the questions you are asking, you have answers already. Now, sometimes you may read, you have an objective of what you do, you have a goal, but by the time you read, you discover that some of your objectives will be answered in the literature you are reviewing. So it is important that you review literatures. They will inform the questions you are going to put in place. So what are these questions? These questions will form a structured interview guide. I remember we have a mission that is starting a mission on Wednesday this week, and we have been preparing since last week, even before last week, and we're trying to come up with a questionnaire. We came up with a questionnaire rather that was distributed last Friday, and it was not done in a day. Mm. I'm saying this is not one person, is not three people. Mm. People that are knowledgeable, people that are, and everybody worked on their own. If I show you the documents we read and came up with this interview question or this interview guide, you marveled. We had to develop a database for this, and by the time we had finished individually, we sat down as a team of experts for just a 1 day mission before we could bring out a questionnaire that will be answered in 5 to 10 minutes. What am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to say that there is good preparation before you go out asking questions. If you don't do that very well, sometimes you may be asking questions that may not seem appropriate. So you review literatures, you ask questions, sometimes you ask them, you fine tune, you say, okay, this one should have been like this, oh, this one should have been. I remember yesterday, by the time we had even deployed was it yesterday? I think it was on Friday. Uh, one of our colleagues was like, okay, going through this again, going through these questions, he's thinking question 12 should sound like this, question 13 should be like this. So that is how you do research. Yeah, it's very important. Now you obtain informed consent. Whoever you are going to meet to interview, you call them first. You reach out to them by mail, by whatsoever, for consent. If you see, most of you, maybe from universities, you wanted to go to do a research in another university, and you arrive there, and the university said that no, go back so that your department will write us. Most of you, you went for what do you call it? IT, industrial training. So going on IT or teaching practice, they give you a letter from your department introducing you to wherever you are going. That is consent. So you seek for consent, they grant you. You select a quiet and comfortable location. So if you're going for interviews, of course, you don't want a place that is rowdy. You don't want a place that is noisy, because I told you earlier that when you are going for interviews like this, you go with at least three persons. One is asking questions, the other one is recording, the other one is taking notes. Of course, the one that is recording may be taking pictures as well. So you see people playing different roles. So when you are recording or when you are taking notes, you want to be in a very quiet environment for to allow maximum concentration, no distraction, and there will be good flow of thought and reasoning. So this is what you do in preparation. During the interview, what do? You build rapport with the participants. Who are the participants? The people you are interviewing. So you try, as I've always told you, you don't appear and look down on them, feel that, oh, you all know, you are all knowing, and you don't know, and no, you don't do that. You appear, you look like them, you blend into how they are, and that way they open up to you and they give you the information you need. So this is very important. You use open-ended questions. When you are doing focus group discussions, you want to have open-ended questions. It allows people to discuss, to say all they want. Now, you need good time. You need time for this. Because when you don't have time, you don't people may not be able to express themselves, and you may not be able to get interview, get information the way you want. So you give out open-ended questions. If it is you that is asking, or you are sending a questionnaire, whatever, electronically, howsoever it is. So you give them room to express themselves. You probe for deeper insights. You probe for deeper insights. Now, you may ask a question, and that question, from what they are discussing, you may see a need of asking question because of what they brought up. That is how you probe for deeper insights. So okay, you see, okay, what is your name? Someone, you just ask somebody, what is your name? Somebody may not just say, my name is Yakubu Donald. The person may say that, oh, by the time my father gave birth to me, this happened, and that happened, so they gave me this name. Or so by the time my father came, they gave him this name. So because of that little information, you want to ask more. Of course, they've told you their name, but you are getting deeper insights. You record the interview with permission. So you sought a consent before, you are seeking consent again to record. I remember I was in Katsina State. We're talking with the Commissioner for Environment, and I had forgotten to ask him for consent, and I put on a recorder. I was recording, and my lead on that team said, you don't do that. You needed to ask consent, and I was with apologies, and we asked, and because if you don't ask consent, they may talk beyond what they are supposed to say. Consent is very important. And as I was saying this thing came to mind. If you are with somebody and you are talking to another person on the phone and they are on speaker, let the person that is talking the other side know that you are on speaker, so that they will know how to talk. So you see, most of the times we're in meetings and they call someone from outside and they put them on speaker, just so that what they are saying, it is information to us. You just say that, sir. Once they answer, boom, boom, you pick from that end, hello, say, yes, sir. This. You are on speaker as you speak right now. So if you don't want to be on speaker, they will just tell you no. But if they are giving you their consent, it's okay. Now that okay, meaning they will know the limit at which they will talk. So this consent is very important. You seek consent, you prepare their mind so that they won't bring out the information that may implicate them. What do you do after interview? You take detailed field notes. You are recording, you are writing. After you are done, you go back, you sit down, and you take notes. Now, before now, it used to be a bit cumbersome. It used to be a bit difficult trying to work, because if you do an interview of um, 1 hour with people, it means you are going to sit down and listen to that recording for another 1 hour to be able to get out information as you want. If you are even taking notes verbatim from what they said, you may even take more than 1 hour, because as you are playing, you play, you pause, you write, you play, you pause, you write, you play, you pause. Sometimes you rewind. So it used to be really, really challenging. But now we have Microsoft. You do a recording, you put on Microsoft, and you do transcriptions, and you get iPhones now these days. What I do is when I'm doing an interview, or when I am in a meeting, I just put it to record, finishes, and you press transcribe, and the iPhone transcribes for you. You have everything that was said in voice into written words. So that's good. So things, we have tools now that we can, make things seamless. You reflect on the interview process. Yes. Of course, you have to reflect, okay, this was said. Now, mind you, in this reflection, it helps you to filter. There are things that were said in the interview there were things that maybe were not said that you have to take note, and there are things that maybe were not well captured. Probably the person that was saying had the idea, but the presentation was not sharp. So you have to look at all of these things, you reflect, and you see how you manage both ends. So these are the 3 steps uh, in conducting interviews in the field. Now, I want to confirm if you are seeing my slides as I'm going.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what slide am I on now?
Conducting focused group discussions.
Good. Thank you so much. All right. So how do you do? 1, you do planning, you do facilitation, you do recording. You define the objective for what you want to do. I told you, for any research, there are questions you want to ask, or there are questions that you have that your research rather, is going to answer. What are the steps you have to get those questions answered? Those are the objectives. You move them stepwise. You select homogeneous participants. 6, 8 individuals. Now for focus group discussions, I told you you can do 6, from 6, 8 to up to even 10. All these people should have an idea of what you are discussing. That is the homogeneity we're talking about here. You cannot be talking about football and you bring somebody from volleyball, you bring somebody from basketball. No, it can't be like that. We are talking about Football Federation in Nigeria. You can say, okay, who are the ones managing the football? Who are the ones promoting the football? Who are the ones playing the football? From where? So you bring them together. They form a group, then the focus is on football. So they form a focus group. And what are you doing? You are discussing football. So it becomes a focused group discussion. So homogeneous means they are focusing on one area. You prepare a discussion guide. You don't just, if you don't prepare a discussion guide, you see that you'll be going outside what you're supposed to discuss. So for documentation, and for purpose of clarity, and for purpose of organization, for purpose of being around, being in the time, meaning the time scope, the discussion scope, and everything, you need a guide to help you. Okay, at this time, this is what you'll be asking. This one, maybe you allot time for everything you will be discussing, according to thematic areas or headings. This is very important. You establish ground rules, that is facilitation. So the first three, defining the objectives and purpose, so selecting homogeneous participant and preparing discussion guides for planning. Then facilitation, you establish ground rules. Okay, I will be the one asking questions from this side. From your side, this is the person that probably is leading. And if I ask this question, maybe we'll be needing 5 people to talk. And how do we conclude? Maybe if it is a question that we need for your consensus, then you discuss and you come up with a consensus, and it is relayed to me for documentation. If not, I'll be getting 5 different views from your angle. We'll be giving just 1 minute for each speaker. This is how you do it. If you don't set the ground rules, then you have a challenge. If you want to talk, you raise up your hand first. If the time is over for your talking, of course there'll be a timekeeper. This is the time allotted. If the time is over, you try to see how you round up and sit down. You set up these rules, very important. You encourage participation from all members. Yeah. Shouldn't be that, okay, there won't be, it is a discussion that is gender inclusive, meaning even in the, as homogeneous as it is, you may have women as well. You may have physically challenged as well as people living with disabilities. And probably you have people that are vulnerable, maybe by age, maybe by a disability, maybe by where they're coming from, their social or economic status. So you encourage all of them to talk, because when you go far north, you have this kind of discussion. Sometimes women don't want to talk. So you try to encourage people to talk. But if it means separating the women differently, fine. It means separating the men differently, fine. You do that. You manage group dynamics. So try to see how, you manage people. When you, once a place is more than 2 people, there are divergent ideas, there are divergent attitudes and all of that. So you try to see how you manage all of this. It is important. You may not agree with what wonderful will be, this will really contribute to what we are doing. But in the real sense of it, you may not be using what they are saying because it is not part of it. You do not believe in what they are saying. or the information they are saying they're trying to provide is out of the context. Or you thank them, oh, yeah, that's right, you just say, yeah, you have to be diplomatic. That's how it's done. So all of that is in managing the group, because the way you speak, your body language, your manners, and your attitudes in the during the discussions. Use audio or video recording with consent. This thing very important. It is appearing every now and then. So in recording, you use this with consent. Assign a note taker to capture non-verbal cues. Yes. So you have to assign a note taker in every discussion. The person that is taking notes will may have an electronic recording as well, or the person that is doing the video coverage may have an electronic recording as well. So just that you don't miss any information. If you go to houses of assembly, Federal House of Assembly, the Green Chamber, the Red Chamber, state houses, you see that there are a set of people that are seated down before you have the speaker or the Senate president seated up there. You have a group of people, these people, and you have some people that are taking notes, as in writing with pen. You have some people that are doing recording, audio recording, and you have video recordings to tell you how important discussions can be. So these are applied even in research works. You don't want to miss any information. It's very important. So going to the next slide, transcribing qualitative data. What are the importance of transcribing qualitative data? What are the types of transcription? And what are the best practices? Best practices is transcribe promptly after data collection. Importance, to convert audio data into text for analysis, I told you. And now, before, it used to be challenging. Some people would talk and trying to bring it into words, text. It used to be a challenge, but now it's easy. Yeah. So this is how the application of artificial intelligence is really, really helping us. It has made some of us, many of us rather, our jobs are quite easy now. If you have the resources to get the right ones, it will help you. So, and you have to really know how to use them, because not this one that everybody just go and ask anything to ChatGPT and no. There are ways you use these things, and they give you wonderful information. They preserve the transcription. One of the importance is preserves the richness of participants' responses. Yeah, because the response is there. Mind you, if there was this video I was watching, and someone, a lot of people stood on a queue, and this one would tell this person something to tell next person till it gets to the other person. Now, before it could get to the other person, the original message that was relayed here was adulterated. So I could say that, okay, let me look at this list. So the first person on my list here is Marian Dashe. So I say, Marian, tell Aguma Bridget that tell Aguma Bridget to come. Tell her to come. So, okay, rather, okay, rather I would say, okay, I want the first person on the line up there to know that the bus is coming by 5. So I relate that to Marian. Marian gets to Bridget and tells Bridget that the bus is coming by 5. Bridget relates to Dominic that the bus will be coming by 5. You see, she has started altering the message. Dominic would tell Monica that the bus will be coming by 5. Monica will tell Angela that the bus will be coming by 5 this evening. Angela will tell probably Davidson that the bus will be coming by 5. Be ready. So, everybody wants to give someone information that is not written. By the time it is going by word of mouth, they keep altering it. By the time it gets to the end, it becomes something completely. So, some time ago when I was serving, some guy said something to me. What was his name? Mansoor. Mansoor said that he made mention of something that I felt, yeah, made a lot of meaning. He told me that the Bible the Bible was written in a language. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure I don't have the information of the language in which the Bible was written, whether Hebrew, whether Aramaic, whether Latin, whatsoever. I can't remember. But he said that the challenge the Islam has is the Quran was written in Arabic and has always been that way. And, of course, there may be some translations, but that is the one in Arabic is the one that is, But the challenge Islam will always have is the Bible was written in a language that has been transcribed or translated, transcription rather. No, translation. Is it translation or transcription?
Transcription, I think.
When you write something in one language and you are turning it into another language is what?
It's transcription, sir.
Translation.
Translation. It was written in a language. Okay, thank you all. Now, it was written in a language. By the time you translate into another language, you translate, and there are different versions. Then the information may be lost. And I saw reasons with that. If you speak Igbo and you are trying to convert that Igbo language to Hausa, that Igbo meaning as it is may be lost. And that is the reason why you see one word in English becomes a definition even in English itself. Not to talk of one word in English is a definition you try to explain it in other languages. So this is the importance of trying to do transcription. You transcribe to maintain the originality and the richness of the responses that you received. What are the types of transcription? You have verbatim and intelligent verbatim. Now, verbatim includes all the utterances, everything that was said, where it stopped, and everything is written there. Once you have something like that, it's more like a manuscript. You call it a manuscript. I have a book here that was in a mission in Benue State for, was it 5 days? And everything I was writing here, I wrote everything and I did recordings. So this is my manuscript, collected some documents, all of that put together, have all of them. Information. And I improved on them to have a report. You have an intelligent verbatim that excludes filters and non-essential words. Because when you are talking to people, there are some words they may use that if you put in your report, they may become a problem. I remember there was this consultant that we hired that came from where, I can't remember, that did a fragility assessment for Nigeria. Recently, we were going through the report and what the person wrote. By the time we're going to it, it was really, really not the right thing to write about the country. We had to expunge all those sentences. So these things, the intelligent verbatim transcriptions, you try to work on them just to have a better presentation. And what are the best practices? Transcribe promptly after data collection. If you don't do that, you may have a challenge. You may lose some information or you may mix information up. Or the device may go bad. You know, things happen. Things happen. I remember during my undergraduate days, I was supposed to do a seminar and I had prepared all that I needed to submit for the seminar. Now I went to school, I went to the printing. Then you had computers were very, not everybody had a computer. Photocopiers, printers were still few. You know, people were still managing. And I went to this guy. The guy was overwhelmed with work. And I don't know what happened. Collected my computer to trying to print, you put a flash, and by the time you know, that's how the whole work disappeared. And I needed to do a presentation the following day. What happened? Look for everywhere, didn't find anything. Thank God I had the manuscript. So when you're working, you need a book. Don't rely on the phone or the computer you have. No. You need a complete book, a book like this. I have my shelf here, I have a lot of them. You need something. You need, so that you'll be writing. As you're writing, you're recording, and even the recording, when you finish, you try to see how you forward it somewhere, maybe in your email. Otherwise, you'll be surprised. I remember my mate back then was traveling to come to defense and his computer was stolen. Thank God he had forwarded the thesis on email. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any thesis for him to defend. So these things are very important. Use transcription software for efficiency. So I just told you, you have Uta, it does transcription. You have iPhones, anything, iOS, iOS, I think 18 and above, they can do that. Any iPhone that is 11, I think not just 11, anything around, I think X, yeah, X up here, they can do transcription. Once you update, you have iOS 18. And as you're transcribing, you finish. As you are playing, you see down here, there is a part where you see some something like all this message sign. You tap on it and you see that all that was recorded, the text appears there. The text appears and you hit it, it does the transcription for you. So it is effective. ChatGPT does that. You can put in what do you call it, the information you got, and of course it will transcribe. Someone is writing Microsoft Word. Of course, not this. You have Microsoft 365. So Microsoft 365, the way I'm talking like this, you open your Word document and you put it on transcribe. As you are talking, it will be writing whatever you are saying. Or you can feed it with that recorded information. You go there, you transcribe, and it turns everything into text. So you have them. Review transcription for accuracy. Now, mind you, the English we speak, we are not natives of English, and the accent is not always accurate. These softwares are coded with English native, probably British or a US accent. So you may say something and it will interpret it to something else. So it is important that after you have done the transcription, you need to read it line by line. Otherwise, it will say something else and you put it in your report and it will be forceful. So please, it's important you look at all of that. Now, next, organizing qualitative data. So how do you do data management and what are the software tools? You try to store transcripts rather. You store them very well in a safe and in a place that it's, you just go there and you get them. You have to maintain data log. You could categorize them based on dates, categorize based on location, and participant ID. So for me, if you look at my computer, I manage a lot of data. And how do I store? Like my place of work, I am working on 4 projects that are running in 26 states of Nigeria. And I have, number one, I have a folder that is named IFAD. When you open IFAD, you have VCDP, which is project number 1, that is running in the Middle Belt, Nigeria. Life ND is there, that is running in South Nigeria. Then you have you have SAPZ that is running in Southwest and part of North. Then you have VCN that is running in far northern Nigeria. Now, when you open this, if you open VCDP as a project, you have other folders inside. Is it supervision mission? Is it letters? Is it mission reports? So you have other categorizations inside the VCDP. Now you have ICO IFAD country office as a folder in IFAD. So things that are not that are not related to projects that are in the country office are in that folder. Is it policy? Policy works? Is it other things? You put them. We put them there. Then I have a folder in that IFAD again that is country director. Any assignment that the country director gave me and I've done, it is in that folder. I have another folder that is ICT for D. So you have folders like that so that once someone calls you, oh, we need this information, you know exactly where you look for. Because you are dealing with a lot of data, you are dealing with a lot of information. So if you don't know how to manage data, put them, organize them like that, you have a problem. Now they are talking about dates. Now, if you look at even letters, if you open a folder and it is letters, how do you know that this is looking at? You have so many letters that are for VCDP. How do you know that this is this? Yes, a coding would do. Today is, what is the date of today? 25th or 24th?
25th.
Good, 25th. So 25th today, if I'm doing a letter today to the Minister of Agric, I will write 25/05/2025. So that is the code number. And the code number is date 25/05/2025. You write them as one number. Now you space, then you write where is the letter coming from? Is it because of a project or it's because of it's from the country office? You write ICO if it is the country office. If it's a project, you write the name of the project by the acronym. Then where it is going to? It is going to Honorable Minister. Now it's a Honorable Minister or Honorable Minister of State. Which ministry? Is it Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, FMAFS? Then that's how you do the coding. Then when you finish the code, then you put maybe the title of the letter there. So all of that forms the title. So once you open letters, you have an idea of which letter they're looking for. If you don't know the date, the letter was sent to Honorable Minister. Then you start looking. Oh, the letter came from this project. So this is how you do cataloging. Some of you have been to the library. It's amazing how they do the catalog. So that way you get the book very easily. You go to the catalog. Are you looking by the author? Okay, the author is Yakubu Donald. Then you go to author. Author, you go to Y. So you go to Y, then you start looking at YA. Then you look, then to where the author is, and you look at and you pick. You go to the shelf where it will direct you where the shelf is. Then you go to where it is, you go and pick it. Or are you looking at the title of the book? You don't know the author. So if you know the title of the book, you go to the letter that starts plant breeding. So plant breeding, you go to P. There are so many plant breeding that you are looking for. So if you understand, if you maybe you do not understand the author, but you know when the book was published. So two authors cannot do same plant breeding. It's very rare for two authors to do one plant breeding book in the same year. So these are the informations, it helps you manage data better. Software tools utilize qualitative data analysis tools to help you. Organize data into folders based on themes or participant groups. So that is another thing we had mentioned. Now, we're talking about introduction to coding. What is coding? The types of coding and the process it indicates. So coding here is definitely labeling segments of text with codes, as simple as that. And this facilitates the identification of patterns and themes. We're talking about themes. Maybe you are talking about, let's say, when we're talking about value chains, I did mention here the other time value chain. Is it agricultural value chains? If you're talking about agricultural value chains, we are talking about what happens during production to when the food is ready on the table. So in the production, you have land clearing, you have inputs in form of pests, in form of fertilizers. You have inputs in form of seeds as well. You move from there. When it is ready, you go into harvesting, and of course, when harvesting is done, you have people that will come out of take. Off-taking takes place, it goes into the warehouse. Then from warehouse, it goes into people who are doing the processing. And from processing, it goes into the wholesalers. From the wholesalers, it goes into the retailers. From the retailers, it goes into the final consumers. All of this is what is known as the food system or the agricultural value chain. Now, in this agricultural value chain, you have three major themes, three major thematic areas. You have the social thematic area, you have the economic thematic area, and you have the environment or environmental thematic area. How does what I have mentioned from the production to the end user, how does it, are you looking at it in the economic aspect? How does that put money into your pocket? Are you looking at it in the social aspect? How does people react? Okay, this group of people, how do they do their own? How do they transport? How do they do land preparation? How do they do the cultivation? How do they do the transportation of these goods? What are the types of crops they would like to do? What are the staple foods or crops that are related to those particular people? The economic aspect. Then the environmental aspects. What kind of crop is good for where? Yes, cocoa is good for exports. It's making a lot of money, but it cannot grow in the far north. Even in the middle belt, I'm not sure. So the environment is affecting it. Yes, what do you call it? Beans is good. many people want to eat beans, but they cannot grow in the south. The water is too much for it. So the environment is affecting. So you look at the economy, you look at the social, and you look at the environment. So these are the major themes. So when you are doing your coding, you look at systematic areas. So what are the types of code, the descriptive code, which summarize the basic topics, and in vivo code, which use participants or own words. Of course, uh, in vivo, when you are talking about in vivo in sciences, of course, you're using what do you call it? Maybe you're using a sample to to check the efficacy or the effect of whatever you want to test before it is tested with the humans. So, like in sciences, you move from in vitro, you start from in silico, you move from in silico to in vitro, you move from in vitro to in vivo. So in silico, you are using computer models. For people that are doing life science, you use genomes, you use proteins, you use peptides. So you see how the bonds are interacting. Then you look at how the target molecules are working. You look at the interactions with the binding sites and all of that. So if you see that, okay, there is some level of efficacy or binding sites, there is some good of affiliation, then you try to test it. You see how the reactions will run in the lab, in the test tube. So you go into the lab, you move from the computer model into the lab. If it works into the lab, then you move in the lab, you go in vivo. That is using animal samples. So you have rabbits, you have rats, whatever you have there, you put it in them. You infect them, you put it in them, and you see how it works. So if it works, then you try to see how you use those samples for men. For you to clear those 3 levels, there's some level of safety. Then you use men as well. So these are all processes. Thematic analysis. A definition, a method of identifying, analyzing, and reporting patterns, themes within data. Now, research is encompassing, and research is both in different fields. You have research in every field of life has research. That's why you see, by the grace of God, I have some experience in both areas. I speak social science, I jump into science, just so that we are coming from different backgrounds as well, so that what I'm saying, it is relatable. Of course, when you are talking about development research, it's more of social science. It's more of social science. But of course, there is a place for public health as well, which is still development. So that is pure science, life science. So I try to balance up all these things. So because someone will be saying that, but me, this is what I'm doing, but all they are saying here, it's not, That's why I am always open to discussing to all of us. What is it an area that maybe you are looking at, or you want to work, or you are working that maybe I haven't mentioned? If you mention me, we can put heads together and have a good discussion in that area. So thematic analysis is a method of identifying. You identify first, you analyze, then you report patterns. Yes, what is it? So if it is what is this, okay, how, the why, where, what if it is not this, why this? Asking all those questions after you must have identified. So by the time you do all the whys, the how, the where, the when, and the all of that, then you come up with something that, oh, as a result of this, by this and this and this and this is our findings. And of course, you may have recommendations. You do research for recommendations. Any research you do and there are no recommendations, it's not the best. It's not complete. So what are the 6 phases of thematic analysis? Familiarization with the data. You must understand what you have identified. You generate initial codes. You search for things. What you have gotten here, you've gotten here, you've gotten here. Where do you put it? Where do you put it? Where do you put it? I just mentioned the value chain here. So if you do a value chain analysis of maybe rice, we're talking about rice, do a value chain analysis of rice from from production to the end use consumption, and we're trying to analyze into the major environment, economy, and social. How do you send this information to this area? How do you identify, okay, this information has to go to this area? Now that is dependent on the goal of your research and still dependent on the objectives you have set. Yes. So you are talking of rice, the environment, you're saying that, okay, because you are doing the value chain analysis of rice in the north here, there is drought, rains maybe they happen for just 2 or 3 months. So the environmental aspect of it, we will look at an early maturing variety of rice. Or you look at a drought resistant variety of rice. That's the environment. The economy. Not all rice sell better. Or not all rice, there are some varieties of rice that sell better than the others, if you can rephrase that way. The long grains, they sell better. So what are these long grains? Faro 44. So why not Faro 65? It is not Faro 65, even though all of them are long grains. Faro 44 is more popular in that region. So economically, you are looking at something that is popular there, something that is acceptable, something that you can easily get. Okay, socially, the people of North, they like rice. They like rice. I mean, you see them, you have kunungada, you have other many things, the masa, you have so many other things that are prepared with rice. The people accept it. So these are the thematic areas where you can fit your information. So you search for themes. Search for themes. So reviewing themes, you search, you review the themes, and you define and name the themes. Then you produce the report. This is important. If I show you my reports, you see that they are arranged in themes. You don't just write plain text. No, you put them in themes. You put them in themes. No matter how the discussion is small, you will have one pager, but you have themes. If I show you emails that I've sent, there are some mails that you sent. They are in themes. It gives clarity. So outcome, a coherent narrative that captures the essence of the data. So thematic analysis is in phases. All these phases precede an outcome. Next slide, practical tips to data collection, transcription, and analysis. You have to be flexible when you are collecting data. You have to be responsive to participants. If they're talking to you, you listen to them, you answer their questions, you're friendly to them, you ensure ethical considerations. Ethical considerations. What are the ethics? You see consent. Your entry is important. You appear like them. If you understand their language, you speak with them in their language. It is important. Yeah. What they don't like, you don't do it. During transcription, you allocate sufficient time for accurate transcription. I told you that a video or a recording of 1 hour, you will spend at least 1 hour listening to it again. Give it good time. You use timestamps for easy reference. Of course, maybe in your transcription, it's okay, between this time to this time, this was what happened, it helps you. During analysis, you engage in peer debriefing to enhance credibility. You keep a reflexive journal to document analytical decisions. Yes. So these are the practical tips. In summary, what we've said here, for data collection or focus group discussion, there has to be an effective qualitative data collection, which involves careful planning and ethical considerations. Transcription is important because transcription and organization of the data are critical steps before you do analysis. And yeah, coding in thematic areas, we allow for extraction of meaningful insights for qualitative data. So at this point, I think we have come to, it's quite unfortunate that I didn't do thank you this time. But nevertheless, thank you. So it is time for questions and answers. Once you raise up your hand, we will be reacting. Over to you. Yeah, Evelyn.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Yeah.
I have two questions to be precise. The first one is I'm just trying to understand how coding is related to data analysis. I just want to know how it comes in, because this has to do with like mathematics now. I just want to understand how it comes into analyzing the data and all. That's one. Then secondly, what tools are actually best in analyzing data that you collect from the field? Because I knew you mentioned ODK. I knew I tried Google Form, and one of the things I noticed was that as they were imputing the data, it just automatically analyzed the data for you. So I just want to understand what tools are actually best for. I don't know. Does it depend on the type of projects that you are actually embarking on? That's what determines the kind of data that you use, the kind of tools that you use in your analysis. So these are just the two questions that I have that I need clarity on. Thank you.
All right. Evelyn, thank you for your question. In a way, you even answered the question. Yes, it depends on the kind of research you're adopting. First, the goal, the objectives. Is it a social a social science report, a social science research? Is it a scientific research, a pure science, maybe public health, maybe mathematics, chemistry, physics? Now, we said that we have qualitative and quantitative data approaches to data collection and analysis. Of course, what we have discussed today is focus group discussion. Now, focus group discussion here, it is the aspect of qualitative research methods. Now, when I'm talking of coding here, we are talking about thematic areas. I just mentioned that, okay, you have collected data, you have collected a lot of information. How do you see how do you present the information or the information you have analyzed in a way that it will be well understood? So that's where I was saying, okay, take for instance, value chain analysis, RISE. So that's where I brought about economic, social, and the environmental aspects of this analysis. When you are talking quantitative research methods now. In quantitative now, you are dealing with numbers. In qualitative, you are dealing with information that you have collected, that you are asking questions, and you are trying to understand, okay, what A said, what B said, trying to come to, a point of convergence. Here, coding is based on thematic areas. Now, if you go to quantitative, where you are talking of numbers, yes, you can say, okay, you are collecting information on the, yes, ODK, Kobo collect, Google Forms. Now you have collected numbers. These numbers will be in a spreadsheet. Of course, even before you set up things like a Kobo toolbox, you may even do some coding in there. There's what we call skip logic. Some kind of coding are there, and others. So you collect numbers, then you are going into the real coding of numbers as programming languages. If you want to do analyze your data in that form. Now, why are you using those programming languages? It's for easy analysis and maybe fast analysis. What you are using coding to do, someone that does not have maybe information or understanding of coding can still do the analysis, but it will take them time depending on the data that was collected. So let's say, of course, I'm talking of different programming languages. In data analysis, the programming languages, the language that is used in data analysis mostly is R. Now, R is there, Python is there. These are the most popular. Then you have tools like SPSS that helps you do, of course, Python is a tool as well. R is a tool as well. Then you have other languages like DAX, DAX. All these are languages that help you in doing data analysis. So once you have done your data analysis, you have, what do you call it? You have Power BI, you have Tableau. These are other tools that will help you with visualization. So if you have a Power BI, in the Power BI, you can have a plugin where you have an R that is helping you with the coding in there. You have Python that is a plugin as well that is helping you do your coding in there. Then you have DAX, which is helping you. So these are informations you get from different angles that Power BI meaning business intelligence, that will help you, do a better presentation. This one brings out good numbers the way it's supposed to be. Maybe you are doing conditional formatting, you are raising pie charts, you are doing histograms, you are having dough charts and all of that. So this one will help present the data you are doing very well. Dashboards, interactive dashboards. When you look at them, they look wonderful. There are some I have done in the past, but that's not what I do presently. So But some people on this call, as I'm talking this, they understand, they have some knowledge, some understanding of what I'm saying. And like I said, research, when you are talking research, research is very vast. It is in different fields of life. You cannot know all. You choose the niche where you want to, master, and you pursue it. Yes. So that's it. So coding uh, happens both in social science and both in sciences, where both in qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. Now that's how it works. So even as you mentioned, Kobo Toolbox, Google Forms, ODK, all of them, when the information is collected, it gives you a preliminary analysis. It can analyze, it can show you that, okay, out of these 50 people that have entered, 20 are female, 30 are male. Okay, the age group, it depends on how you structure your questions. If you don't structure your questions well, it will not give you that preliminary analysis we're talking about. So it will raise some tables, develop some tables for you, develop some charts for you, and looking at it, you have an understanding of what it is saying. So that kind of presentation helps people, and it is not boring. It is easier for people to understand presentation in graphs better than just numbers or just texts. So even if it is words, you put them in codes and you transform them into maybe graphs. So this number of people were of the opinion that A is B, is this, is that. So this number of people that are of this opinion, this is their own graph. This one we're saying that this and that, this is their own this one, this is their own. So you see how the bar charts are raising, and falling, or how the line of best fit is moving, the trend. All of that gives you an information of what you are trying to say. So yeah, coding, you transform what is said in maybe people's views, you transform them into maybe graphs, maybe patterns like that for people to look at it at once and understand. But for quantitative numbers now, quantitative numbers coming with frequencies and all of that, it is easy, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, now Python, programming languages, these are things you take your time to study and understand. We will not be going into that aspect here because, of course, I have not done that for some time, and these are things that they are very volatile. If you leave it today, you forget the majority of it. It is not part of our course synopsis. But some of you that would want to know that, I would recommend you go on Coursera, do some courses. You go on, there's this one, data something. I've done some courses there. You do some courses there. You get Coursera. You get certifications from top universities in the US, all over the world, and they come to you. They're wonderful. I have done a couple of them, and I know they are good. So that's it. So I don't know if I have answered your question. There are a lot of resources on YouTube as well. The challenge with YouTube is you don't have certifications, but I tell you, anything that you want to know, it is on YouTube. You go there and you learn. YouTube has always been my friend. I ask questions, you watch videos, you watch over and over and over, you watch and you do. You don't just watch, you watch, you do, you watch, you do. If you get stuck, you go back, you watch, and you perfect it with time. So, Evelyn, I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, you have, because for me, there was a line, a statement you made about research being vast and that you can just focus on a particular area which you are good at. So I think I will imbibe that, because mathematics for me is scary. But thank you,
Yeah.
sir. You answered.
Yeah. So you can just choose, even if it is a languages. You can just decide. And me now, what is on my mind, even while I was in church today, I was just, what do I do? Should I just go to Togo? Should I go to Togo? Should I go to Cameroon? Or should I go to Benin? Should I go to France and go and do 1 or 2 years and master my French? Then know what is next. Because really, really, once, if you don't have, I want to tell you, if you have a second language, you have Arabic, you have French, you have Spanish, you have what's this one again? I think there are five of these languages. I think they are trying to bring Swahili from Africa. So these five, um, the UN, you go far. If you don't have, it's a challenge. You are limited. Apart from even the UN, if you want to be an international staff, you need to know a second language. And for we that are in Africa, and most especially in this West Africa, we are surrounded by French-speaking countries. So it is important, Now, this is the challenge we have. The French-speaking speak English fluently because they know that, oh, French, when you are talking about languages, English is more popular than French. So they feel that, okay, their French alone is not enough. Let them get English. But we feel that, oh, we have English, we're done. We can be good everywhere. But you have strong capacity, you understand the English, you have the degrees, but if you have that second language, it's a big plus for you. And I encourage all of us to do something about it. Look at me at my age now, I'm thinking of that. So this is, a wake-up call for all of us. I've been advocating for this. Please be very, very intentional about your children understanding a second language, international language, very important. Look them up. The five UN languages. They are very good. But French, I think after English, French, before you have their Spanish, then the others. So please, I encourage all of you. It's not late. We can learn French. For us that already have the French, go out and see what you can do with your French. It's very important. So that's it. All right. Thank you, Evelyn. Marianne, you are next.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the very interesting class. Sir, mine is also a question. I just want to find out, how does a researcher handle a situation of, will I say, data overload or information overload, especially when it comes to qualitative data, or qualitative research? I'm asking this because I actually had that experience when I was doing my undergraduate research. I did a very broad topic and I had a lot of interviews, so many transcripts. And then when it came to analysis, I struggled a bit. Though I was able to find my way around, but I still thought to ask this question just to get better clarity on that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so now you got a lot of data because of your objective, because of the goal, because of the design. Now, the scope of your work was vast. If it were somewhere else, they would have awarded you a higher degree if you were able to analyze all the information. Now, I say this, if you say that they try to, okay, let's talk about, okay, sorry, maybe you should share with us what your research was all about. So in that context, we'll discuss better.
Okay.
Kindly on me.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So my topic was actually an analysis of the implementation now of the gender policy of my university. Yeah, so it was gender policy analysis. I was carrying out a study to analyze whether it's been implemented. And this was a policy that was formed and adopted many years back. And so my supervisor actually told me that, being that, okay, I wanted going, using the qualitative approach, he told me I'll have to interview a lot of people. I would have key informants, that's people that were around or part of the committee that set up the policy in the first place. I would have to interview staff, both academic, non-academic, students. And, so at the end of the day, I think I had about 62 respondents all in all. And yeah, so when I transcribed, I had a lot of transcripts. And when I used the narrative analysis because I wanted to capture, all their responses. My objectives were about 5 in number. And all of these were just aimed at, okay, seeing is this policy even implemented? It's been there, but has it, so it was just a whole lot, sir. But I was able to find my way around it.
Okay. So now, okay, I understand now. Yeah, your research was not the objective, everything was okay, but your design, your design of questionnaire was the challenge. And maybe the filtering of information. We just talk about verbatim. The filtering of information probably was what you had a challenge with. Now, we did a class of 1 hour plus here. If someone asks me to summarize all of this class is basically, we are talking about what you will do when you are collecting data, or rather, what you will do before you go into data collection, when you collect data, and after data collection. So when you are preparing, this is what you do. In the field, this is what you do. In analysis, this is what you do. So your challenge basically was how to try to bring out the core information from what all these people were saying.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. People will say a lot, but you need to know what is the stuff of that a lot. That is where active listening and summarization is important. Someone will say that, yeah, this policy Of course, some will say that yes, if there is a gender policy, we are not sure that. In the end, what the person is trying to say is they are not aware of a policy. Yeah, a gender policy was launched, but these people were supposed to be doing this. People were supposed to be doing this, but they have not done this. They have not done this. All they are trying to say is there is a gender policy in place, but implementation is not effective. So it is how to summarize all those information was a challenge. And maybe you did not have a strong thematic areas in which you could fit in your information. Your strong thematic areas would come from your questionnaire. Yes. So that's the thing. So if you are not careful, you get a whole lot of information and analysis becomes a challenge. But thank God, now we have tools that can help us do all of that. We just mentioned AI tools now that you sit. I mean, maybe you could just scribble some information. Someone is talking, you are putting bullets. You finish, you put it in an AI, and it does a good work. You just gives it command, and it does everything for you.
Yes, so I even forgot to include something. Another thing was the fact that I was actually using my faculty, that's the Faculty of Social Sciences, and I was looking at a time frame, like the last past, I think 5 academic sessions. So because of that, I also had to consult and get secondary data for admission, data for employment to see if you were. So that that was another thing that
Yeah, so that was much. That was
yes.
much. I understand now. That was much. 5 academic sessions. Oh, that was a research for not undergraduate. Did you say undergraduate?
Yes, sir. It was on the graduate level.
No, it was much for an undergraduate research. It would have been for something maybe at least a master's degree. So well, it toughened you now. So going forward, it will be easier for you to do stuff like that. All
Thank
right,
you
who's
so much,
next?
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very well done. Who's next? Okay. So two things. Someone is asking for attendance lists. Please let us not be coming here to just take attendance and go. Yeah, Marian, you want to talk again?
Yes, sir. It's the second question. I actually also wanted asking. I just recall. Yes, I just want to ask, how do we ensure informed consent is meaningful and not just procedural in low literacy context now?
All right. So consents, most of the times you do something like a form. You do a form. That's the best practice. You do a form, and on the form you write that this, and you take to them, and you read it out to them, and they're consenting, then there is somewhere they are supposed to sign. So they sign. If they can't sign, they should thumbprint. Now, for a low literacy environment, I think the right thing to do is when you are seeking the consent, you put them on record. First, you tell them that, okay, given that you don't have literacy, your literacy is not up to expectation, and if it shouldn't be that, okay, tomorrow if you feel as if someone is shortchanged or something will come up, this information, you think we should capture it by voice recording? Say yes. So you record what they are saying, you read out the form to them, you explain to them, and they consent. They say yes or no, and that's it. It is on record, and they sign. They have their thumbprint, and that's it. You have it.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. So, okay. If there is no more question, maybe next class I'll be asking questions. I'll look at the attendance here and I just throw a question to somebody. I could say, Jacob, Richard, where are you? Tell me something. And Jacob will come. And I call Dewa Doshima, say something. Kezia Mukhtar, say something. And I'll hear what Samira Ali to say. Monica Nino, all of you. I'll be coming for you. If you don't ask questions, I'll ask you. All right, guys, it's nice to have you here even now, even this today rather. We look forward to meeting each other next weekend. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend and be productive next week, rather this week, from tomorrow going forward. So at this point, I think I'll be exiting.
Thank you so much, sir.
So
Thank you, sir.
good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.